Hi, good morning, Internet fans. It is Ryan Perry with Simple Biz Support. It is Thursday, which means I am with Virginie Dorn with Business Website Centers down in Petaluma. Good morning, Virginie.
Hello, Ryan. Hello, everybody.
And today we have a very important topic. We're not going to be able to cover nearly as much as we could in just 15 minutes, but today we're going to talk about copywriting and what effect that has on the ranking of your website, which is affectionately known in the industry as SEO. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions. There's been a lot of changes coming down from Google over the last couple of years with Panda and Penguin that really have dramatically affected the quality of the content that people should be producing. And and I think the other thing that confuses people, or not confuses people, but coming from a business owner's point of view, is that when we put up a website, we want to say all the different things that we do. However, a lot of times people don't want to put the effort or energy or money into separating out what those individual things are on separate pages. And what I try and explain to my clients from an SEO point of view is that Google is looking through billions and billions of pages when you do a keyword search to find the one page that best represents what it is that you're searching for. And when you're building a website and you have multiple services, let's say you're an estate attorney and you offer estate planning, probate, and elder care as an example, and you throw all three of those items on one page and you have a description for each, the problem is, from an SEO or from a Google point of view, is basically you diluted the value of that web page, because Google's not really sure what that page is about. Is it about estate planning? Is it about probate? Or is it about elder care? And by breaking those pages up and having one page just for elder care, one page for probate as an example, really gives a clean understanding of what each page is about. And therefore your copywriting really needs to be targeted, just like anybody who talks about marketing says, okay, who's your target audience? What is the core thing? What is the pinpoint that we need to focus on? And Virginie, I know you're in the same boat with this. When it comes to copywriting, it needs to be very pinpoint and accurate per page also.
I absolutely agree with you. And like you said, content is still king with Google and all search engines. And just like you, I share the same vision. Then each page has to be individualized and have its own SEO goal. I think we've talked in the past, like if someone was selling shoes, there should be a page about boots, and the whole content should support that unique SEO goal for that very specific page. Again, try not to be everything to everybody. Google is looking for good content that has value, then is focused. So trying to mention too many things on one page doesn't work. Instead, just like you mentioned, being specific and having individualized and optimized pages for specific keyword or keyword combination search is the best way to approach it.
All right, so let's talk about content, let's talk about keywords, and let's use an example that I think anybody can relate to, which you brought up, which was boots. If we took it one step further, we could have women's boots, men's boots, snow boots, rain boots, I don't know, maybe hunting boots. I don't know what different categories are, but basically what I tell my clients from an SEO point of view is that especially if they're building out a website for the first time and they have multiple areas within their practice, maybe they have 3 verticals within their practice, is that each one of those needs to essentially be its own website within your website as far as content around it. And at what point do you say, you know what, I really don't want to invest the time, money, or energy into something? Really depends on 2 things. One, what priority is it in your business? If it's a very small part of your business and it's not something you really care about, then let's not invest the time, money, or energy into creating a lot of content around that. And then the second thing is search volume. If nobody's searching for what you're offering, you can be the most optimized, you could own the whole page of Google, first page of Google, but if nobody's searching for it, it doesn't really matter.
Yes, that's very true. So it all starts at the beginning. Does your client have a plan? And what's the SEO plan? You have to understand what you're looking after. Before you start building pages and content, you have to look at what's my target market, what are those type of clientele looking for on the web, and then you come up with some kind of keyword analysis of some sort with priority level. And sometimes we don't shoot for the most popular keyword because everybody's going after. Sometimes we shoot for number 2, number 3, 4, 5. But you have to know what they are before you start going crazy developing pages, because as you mentioned, if you're looking for high heel hunting boots, yeah, you'll be number 1, but nobody is truly looking for that kind of product. So it starts with having a plan and action, just like any good business marketing plan. And then based on that plan and what your priorities are, now you start building pages and you start building appropriate content with focused, optimized approach.
Right. And just for the business owners out there that are kind of maybe mentally visualizing their website and going through it and going, does this apply to me, yes or no? Give you an example. Early on in my career, I had an attorney that spent an absorbent amount of time and energy building the website. She had a beautiful website, and so I was brought in to handle the SEO. And one of the problems was she had a single page called services, and it listed everything that she did as an estate attorney, and the website was not getting ranking on Google. And so basically I came to her, I said, look, we need to fix this. We need to make all of these separate pages. And this is back HTML. This was an HTML site, so it wasn't even WordPress where we could boom, 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 change something real quick. And basically, emotionally, she was drained from building this website that she was like, oh, I got to take a time out, do what you can do for a couple of months and let me just kind of decompress and get back into the website, because she really spent a lot of time and built a beautiful website. Within a couple of months, we were able to get some visibility. I think we were up on like page 4, page 5 when we weren't even seen at all. And once she was ready to make that change, we created new content and we separated the services page, was still a landing page for services that said, hey, these are all the things that we did. But we created links on that service page to estate planning, which was a separate page, a separate link to probate. And we created original content around each one of those subjects. Within 2 weeks, she was on the first page of Google for those specific keywords. And that's really by being very focused in what your content is and putting that on each individual page can really make a difference in your search optimization, which also led to increased visitors, which everybody wants, and resulted in increased phone calls and therefore more money in her pocket at the end of the year. So yes, that's just a basic example. So some of the things that we were talking about, we've got the, SEO. For me, SEO always starts with keyword research. You have to know there's 2 parts. There's keyword research and there's understanding who your client is. Working with an electrician right now, and an electrician, you could be an Acme electrician who goes in and does real basic generic type stuff, or you could be more of a, I want to do high-end remodels, I want to put a new kitchen, kitchen lighting, those type of things. So how would you might incorporate copywriting into that as far as targeting your audience and your keywords?
Well, once you find your keyword research and see what you're looking for, and you have a complete understanding of your target audience, then you have to look at, just like you mentioned, exactly what is your business about. Because if you are an electrician, you're not the electrician for everybody. There is a cup of tea, there is your bread and butter, and that's what you need to go after. Because being well optimized for a service you really don't like to do, because it may cost you money, the profit margin is very low, it's totally worthless. So again, your keywords, what are people looking for? What are you providing? And who's your best target audience? Then you set your plan. So now you have your 2 to 5, 6 keywords or keywords combination you're shooting for. And again, you specifically write the copy for those keywords in mind. You can still mention the other sub-services you do, but don't put as much emphasis on them. Because again, you're looking for your perfect client, the one that gives you the most pleasure and the most profit. That's the guy you want. So you have to understand who he is, what he's looking for, and how to develop content so then Google say, oh yes, you do sell high heel hunting shoes. Another thing too we need to touch on is while you're developing that nice content, don't forget the call to action. And a lot of people just develop beautiful content, 6 paragraphs, very well optimized, but at no time do they ask for the sale. And I think site owners oftentimes are reluctant to do that. They don't want to feel pushy, but the truth of the matter, if someone's on your website, they need your services. So asking them to call you, asking them to email, asking them to place an order, asking them to subscribe, it's totally fine. They went to your site on their own will. You didn't force them. It was not a cold call. They're here. They're happy to be asked for the sale. So don't forget to include that in your copy, whatever your call to action should be.
Right. And I think the other thing with that is that call to action. You have to be careful where you put everything. You know, part of what Google does, and I think why they're #1 in their industry, is that they really mimic human behavior, or they've done their best to mimic human behavior. And part of that is when you write large content, just like the old newspapers, if you actually have seen a printed newspaper, all the meat and potatoes is really in the first paragraph, because if you have a long story, the reality is the farther you read down that story, the less and less readers you're going to have. We need to get a real clear, concise understanding what this is. And so Google is also going to put more value in what you put at the top paragraph, and also where you place the keyword. So if you put a call to action at the very end of your content, most of your readers aren't ever going to read it. A lot of times adding some sort of visual as a call to action is also can be very helpful, or a sidebar call to action. But oh, where was I going? I had a thought in my head and it flittered away. It flittered away.
So yes, good copy, proper grammar, nice call to action. Just like you mentioned, the top paragraph should be the most important one. Everything underneath is just to support what the first paragraph was talking about. And there's always that fine line about pleasing your visitors, making it marketable, the copy, so it's interesting to read, but also pleasing the search engine. So you don't want to be too much on one side and not the other. There's a fine balance here. But again, indicating to Google and other search engine what this page is about and why it should be indexed, but also having enough marketing juice in your copy so it grabs the attention of a reader, so then they do make a call to action.
Right. Yeah, and I think the big thing with that is if you write for Google and realizing that Google is a mathematical formula, Google is zeros and ones, and that's all it is. If as an end user, if you can remember that Google is simply zeros and ones, it's a mathematical algorithm, that if you write content for Google, and even if it does work and you do get top ranking, the copywriting is going to look and sound horrible, and nobody's going to trust you. So I always tell my clients, you always write for the reader in mind first, and then I worry about Google and the SEO aspect of keyword writing second, because there's a lot of things that we can do off page to support and push traffic to that website. It doesn't have to, you know, I think a lot of people are under the misconception that if you SEO optimize a website, that's all you do. I always love it when people just want a flat fee. Well, just SEO my website. And it's like, well, that's part of it. Yes, your website does need to be optimized, but websites for the most part are very static, and we live in a very dynamic world, and Google is very dynamic, so you can't just rely on the website. So ideally, I really want the content written for the end user with an SEO, with Google in mind, but really putting value on the written quality and the content, and like you said, having that call to action in there also. And then we can worry about, okay, did we get the keywords in that we were looking for? Are we specific on each page with the keywords that we're targeting?
Yes, and that's why having a blog is actually quite useful, because it's an easy way to create quick content, 400, 500, 600 words per page. Because after a while you do run out of ideas for pages. You're up to 100 pages. How many services are you providing? And then can you describe on your page? So blog is a good way, easy way, quick for the site owner to do a topic every week. It doesn't have to be many paragraphs, but Google does like those as well. And it's all part of copywriting.
All right, perfect. All right, that actually brings us up to the end of our time today, but I think it's a great lead-in for not next week because of 4th of July, but the following week. I think we should talk about SEO, blogging, copywriting as it relates to blogging, because that is such a powerful tool from an SEO point of view.
Yes, let's do that.
All right, sounds good. And I understand you're going on vacation next week, so I hope you have a fabulous time.
Yes, Las Vegas, here I come. I'm not sure they are ready for me and my family.
Well, there are plenty of good shows there, so I hope you have a fabulous time, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
That sounds good. Bye, Ryan. Bye, guys.
Bye.